You don't have to even put a finish on it. I've seen, there's one 3-story apartment building in Europe that has no line render, it has no finish on it. They've left it like this. I've seen 9-year-old walls in France that just have been left out as a test, and they're still fine. No mold, no mildew, no nothing. But it's really, the houses that we've done, you can go to our website and look at. They're beautiful.
Your website address?
My website address is hemp-technologies.com.
Any other questions here?
What's George's website?
Pardon me?
George's website.
Let's see. I have a variety. I'm on Normal's board, which normal.org, and I write for the blog on occasion. And I'm going to write a piece on this wonderful event that we're in the process of participating in, and I also have our board game is farmgame.com. And anyway.
Thank you for coming.
Sure, thank you.
Do you have all kind of animals on that farm game, George?
Just cattle.
Is that like a modern day, like the pre-genesis of Farmville?
Well, in some ways, yes.
It sounds like it was pretty successful. I think that it really
well, and in fact, we're in conversations with Farmville right now to maybe bring out some product
maybe
for
they
the
could grow
locals.
hemp on. Maybe they could have hemp on Farmville.
Well, you know,
There we go.
everybody wants to see organic farming, so that's the next step, right?
Well, then you got to get the DEA. He's got to have a little piece, and he comes in and busts the farmer.
Right, confiscates the back 40, and yeah.
Quietly. So back to why can't we do like a peaceful march on Washington? Why is that so?
We can.
Especially, we have
How would that,
activists out in D.C. that could are qualified enough to do that. But it's a lot of work and a lot of planning, and I would be happy to bring it up with some of these people.
We just had a
I've got a
national.
television show that's coast to coast. We've been reporting on the happenings in D.C. They have just legalized, not legalized, but the House of Representatives have just allowed them to incorporate into Washington D.C. the medical marijuana law that they passed in 1998. So that they are now able to do that. They are also setting up their first dispensaries that they've had, because they have to buy through a dispensary or go for yourself is the way they can do it there. And so Washington D.C. is on one of the those lists of how many states are legal now.
14.
And so they become one of those names. And obviously, once they get to that point, that the activism really actually takes off. Just like it has in Washington, Oregon, California. You've got to break those first ice, so to speak.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and they have done that. They haven't given up there. They never wanted not to have medical marijuana, so they fought to get that, and they never stopped. They never quit.
Well,
now they got it.
And just to comment about that, when Washington D.C. voted on this issue, Congress, Washington D.C. is a vassal of the federal government. Its budget for the city council comes from the federal government, and originally the Congress would not allow a vote to be taken on this issue. That was resolved in the courts. Yes, we're gonna vote on this. Then they blocked the counting of those votes and had them blocked for maybe 18 months until the court said, no, you got to count the damn votes. And when they counted the votes, 69% of the residents of Washington, D.C. had voted yes on medical marijuana. 69%. That's 7 out of 10.
That is incredible.
Okay? And then a congressman named Barr, who ran on the Libertarian ticket, and I can't figure out how this works, sponsored an amendment, a rider on the Washington, D.C. federal budget that said if you try to implement this action that your citizens have required, we will not budget you. And through the entire Bush administration, the Barr Amendment kept medical marijuana out of the reach of the public. Okay? The Obama administration comes in with a slightly different take and allows process to happen, and just as he was just saying about 3 or 4 weeks ago, Congress let pass their ability to override the action of the Washington, D.C. City Council. And the Washington, D.C. City Council has been in meetings for months about medical marijuana, how do we do it, you know, what are the dispensaries, what are the qualifications, and all of the above. And this horse is now out of the barn. The Congress cannot screw this over now. And so, in a matter of months, in the nation's capital, right next to the home quarters of the DEA, and the federal government that says that marijuana has no medical use, guess what? Our nation's capital will be telling a very different story. And how do you put that back in the box? How do you put a lid on that?
Very, very interesting. I actually have a question for you though as well. Just to, if I can just shift the topic a little bit. Although in Washington D.C. it is very interesting that that happened. I mean, there's a lot of support for it. You know, there's a lot of grassroots effort going in there. But I was actually wondering specifically a little bit more about hemp farming though, and how let's say this is out of the box, and let's say you could start growing hemp. What types of things would you need to do? Would you have to get together with a farm co-op? Or how exactly would you need, because you need to buy a retrofitted John Deere tractor trailer, some type of thing, and I'm not sure, would you do that with a farm co-op, with 10 or 15 farmers? Do you know other farmers who would want to really be part of a co-op for this?
Well, let's see, where do we start on that question? Well, the technology of growing it is very similar to what it takes to grow corn. Plow the ground, you work it down, you plant it basically on the 1st of May, give or take a couple weeks, depending on where you live. And corn today is grown with a pre-emergent herbicide that then once that happens, then you take care of the weeds by cultivation. Because corn grows so damn fast that if you get it that much head start, the weeds are toast. And my sense is, I've never grown commercial hemp, but my sense is that commercial hemp has a lot of the same abilities to shade out, to vigorously grow, compete virtually any other weed.
It's a weed. It's where it got its name. It grows like a bad weed.
And the parts of the equipment parts of this puzzle, can, as he suggested, be 4 or 5 neighbors go together and buy something. One of the big pieces in the puzzle, if you're going to use